Hello everyone, my name is Debbie Jones-Snyders and I'm from the Hopedale Presbyterian Church. And I'm delighted to welcome children and families to our church school lessons and crafts. Our story today is the birth of John the Baptist, and this is from Mission Bible Class with images by Sweet Publishing and licensed by Free Bible Images. We have 2 coloring pictures and 2 crafts. The first craft is a bulb decoration for your tree, and it opens up and there's a surprise inside. And the second is a candle Christmas wreath. We also have a variety of other activities for you. In today's story of the birth of John the Baptist, we're going to talk about a priest in the Old Testament who suddenly couldn't talk because he didn't believe God's angel. Let's find out how the problem was solved. And this story is originally from the Old Testament in the Bible, the front part of the Bible. So our story now of the birth of John the Baptist. Zechariah and his wife Elizabeth were 2 old people, like grandparents, except that Zechariah and Elizabeth were not grandparents. They weren't even parents. They had no children, and that made them sad. But all their lives, they had followed God's commands, and that had made their lives happy. Zechariah was a priest who helped in God's temple. One day, a very special thing happened to him. He was chosen to be the one priest to go inside the temple and burn incense while the people stood outside and prayed. Zechariah must have felt especially happy as he entered the temple. Suddenly, an angel appeared in front of him. Zechariah was terrified. The angel comforted him. "Don't be afraid, Zechariah. God has heard your prayer. Your wife Elizabeth will have a son, and you will name him John. He will help people follow God's chosen leader." That seems impossible, doesn't it? Can old people have babies? Only God could make that happen. Zechariah should have believed the angel and rejoiced, but he didn't. "How can this happen?" he asked. "My wife and I are old." "I am the angel Gabriel," the angel said. "God sent me to deliver this good news to you. But now, since you did not believe my news, you will not be able to talk until my words come true." Outside the temple, the crowd was getting impatient. They wondered why Zechariah was taking so long inside the temple. But when he did come out, he couldn't tell them. The angel's words had come true. Zechariah couldn't talk. And more of the angel's words came true. Zechariah and Elizabeth soon discovered that they were going to have a baby. The neighbors and relatives rejoiced along with the parents. And when the baby was born, it was a boy, just as the angel had said. When the baby was 8 days old, many friends and relatives of Zechariah and Elizabeth came for a party to give the baby his name. As people gathered for the party, they talked about how the baby would be named. Maybe Zechariah, after his father. But Elizabeth heard them and said, "No, his name will be John." The guests were surprised. "But none of your relatives have that name." They turned to Zechariah and gestured for him to show what he wanted the baby to be named. He still could not talk. He asked for a writing tablet, and on it he wrote, His name is John. All of a sudden, Zechariah realized that he could talk. He began praising God for the wonderful way he had kept his promises. He explained to the people that John indeed was a special baby and God had a special plan for him. John would prepare people to follow Jesus, who would soon be born. Zechariah and Elizabeth were excited to have a son after all those years, but they were even happier that God had chosen them as the parents of a boy who would grow up and help others follow God's own Son. Remember, God can do the impossible. We have several activities depending on your age level, interest, and ability. You will need to print the templates. There are 2 coloring pictures. And you can use a variety of things to color with, such as crayons, markers, or colored pencils. There are 2 crafts. The first one is a Christmas bulb decoration for your tree. And when you open it up, it says good news on the outside. And when you open the 2 side pieces up, out like that, you can see that today in the town of David, a Savior has been born to you, and he is the Messiah, the Lord. So, this is a lovely decoration that you can make. What you will need is the template. You will need yarn, a hole puncher, scissors, and things to color with, and also one of these little paper fasteners. So the first thing you want to do is to print the template and decorate. So decorate it as you like. Color, decorate. Cut out the pieces, but please note you will be cutting these 2 halves like this. You will also need to look for the X's, and you can put a hole through there either with a pencil, or if you have a you could do it with a paper fastener or with a hole puncher, but there are 3 X's, 1, 2, 3, and that's what you will use the paper fastener to hold the 3 pieces together with. So you also want to punch a hole in the top so that you can get some cut yarn and tie it through the hole so you can hang it up on your tree. So just so you can see how this works, here are the 3 pieces. I've used the hole puncher, and I'm just going to put the paper fastener through the hole like so. So it holds the 3 pieces together. And there you can tell everyone about the good news about Jesus' birth. Our next craft is a candle wreath, and I've partially done it for you so you can see it in process. What you will need is a paper plate, And you will need some tissue paper, at least green and red. I've also used yellow, but you can use construction paper for the flame, or color it if you like. You will need some scissors, a hole puncher, some cut yarn, and some glue. So, and a pencil to sketch out your candle. So what I've done here is I've used a ruler to try to make the candle part as straight as possible. So a few inches or centimeters across. So it's like you're making a rectangle there. And then I've drawn the flame on the top. So once you have your candle drawn, you're going to cut out the part around the candle. You want to be careful that you don't cut out the candle, because then you'll have to glue it back on. If you see the back of my wreath, I have used scissors to cut around that candle. And I put a hole to hold the yarn and tied the yarn ahead of time. Now what you'll need to do is get some glue. Well, actually before that, cut some little pieces of the green tissue paper and fewer pieces of the red tissue paper. So, and they just can be little pieces like that. Just cut the pieces off. Put the glue on and do sections at a time. Put the green on, leave some spaces for the red, and then decide how you're going to do the flame. And there you go. I used yellow tissue paper, but my candle is yellow because Jesus is the light of the world. So you can hang this up on your doorknob, or if you want to hang it on your tree, you could do that as well. So there you go, a Christmas candle wreath. Okay, so other activities that we have include some word searches and mazes, and a crossword. This week, remember, God can do the impossible, and God keeps his promises. John the Baptist came to prepare the way for Jesus Christ, our Savior. We're looking forward to Christmas. Have a great week.